Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers, licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I am Keith Dunn, and I am a sound engineer.
Yes, you are. And together we're Tabletop Coffee.
Yeah, where we are bold and never, ever bitter.
And tonight we're talking about stop living paycheck to paycheck. Number 5, go ahead and make that purchase. Stay tuned and we'll talk about it.
Oh my goodness, so last week we told everybody to be careful of impulsive buying.
Yeah.
And this week we're saying, oh yeah, go ahead and purchase it.
Go ahead and make that purchase. And this is where, this is kind of talking to you and me, because we've talked many times about how it is that you and I aren't afraid of hard work harder, work longer, nose to the grindstone kind of people, and we can do it. So we know how to tough it out, and we also know how to tough it out being skimpy and not making purchases that we probably do need to make.
Yeah, that's true. I do that all of the time. I will wait until the very last moment or until something breaks before I will buy it. And, you know, I think in the past couple of years, I've started doing a little bit better and seeing things and saying, oh, you know, that is a good purchase. It's a good use of money to move forward and get that. But in the past, I really have struggled with that. And
do you know why you struggled?
Yeah, I think for the most part, it's because I don't like spending money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of an impulsive buyer. I'm one of those people who, if I have some extra money, I would rather sock it away so that I have that money for later. I'm very careful with my savings and how things get spent.
Yeah, mine boils down to fear. I was afraid of lack, and so therefore I would live in this poverty mentality and try to skimp and make it by and stretch it out. And, you know, there was a time in my life where that was important to be super, super careful. And then that became less important, but I still lived inside that poverty mentality of don't spend. You can just make it if you don't spend. And that continued to really kind of keep me in some ways locked in living paycheck to paycheck, not spending what I needed to be able to spend.
Yeah, and that's a neat way of looking at that as well, locking yourself into living paycheck to paycheck. Even though you had additional money coming in on those paychecks, you weren't spending them anyway, so it was like you were spending to that limit and that's all you had. Yeah. And I was the exact same way. I think that's why we got along so well.
Yeah,
because
it may have been.
Neither one of us wanted to spend anything, and we went to Starbucks for a while, but those coffees are way too expensive.
They are very expensive. So for me, one of the things that helped me to get out of that was a spiritual piece. And, you know, you and I have talked about this. Right. And some folks are going to say this is hokey, but I know where I was when God just kind of breathed into my spirit and said the money that you have professionally and personally is not for you to save, and it is not for you to kind of invest. Your money right now I've given to you to spend to make the business to flourish. Yeah, and it really released in me freedom to not be unwise, to be careful, but when there was a need, to go ahead and to take care of that need. Yeah. For instance, today, or yesterday, we had our air conditioning to stop working in the upstairs.
That's right. It was a hot day, too.
It was a hot day, yes. And some people up there were a little bit uncomfortable. So the folks from Brown's Heating and Air came today, turned the breaker back on. And said,
which is what I said last night.
You did. But they researched it and they said, we're concerned for the reason that the breaker went off. Right. And he was here and you talked to him with me.
That's right.
And he said, I would suggest that you at least fix this thing right here. We think this may have caused the breaker to trip. Right. And I said to him, how old is that machine? And he says, 13 years. And I said, replace it. Yeah. Replace the whole thing.
That's right. Which was wise, because once you get to that 12-year mark, you know, it's time to start looking at replacing things, and you were there. So what are you going to do? Put a Band-Aid on it?
Yeah, I could spend $200, $300, $400, do what they suggested, which would have been wise. But the wiser thing is to go ahead and go, all right, what's the poverty mentality here? Band-Aid it. Yeah.
That's right.
What is the abundance mentality? What's the going forward mentality? It is, if I weren't afraid, what would I do?
That's right.
I would go spend 11.5 grand
Right.
and get this thing fixed so that it's going to take care of us for the future. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
But that's a newer thing for me, and I'm not feeling, I'm not afraid today. I'm not worried that I made the wrong call. I think I made the wise call
I think so too.
today. Yeah. And we talked about another thing for you, because you're a research it to death guy.
I am.
And you have been toiling between this camera or this camera.
Yeah, that's right.
How long have you been researching this thing?
Oh, years. Couple of years at least. It's been terrible. Ever since, probably since we started this whole thing back 3 years ago.
181 videos ago.
Yeah, 181, 183 when this one releases.
That's probably true, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I struggle with that. So I bought nice cameras.
You did?
They have worked well for what we are doing.
Yep.
But it's time to take that leap into something that's
Yeah, because you have vision.
Yeah, I do.
Really a wonderful vision for what you want to
Right.
do, where you want to go, how you want to do it.
Exactly.
And you need
Yeah, I would say
another camera
Right.
in order to really do this well.
Yeah, it's taking it to another level. Yeah, so I think that I've gotten to that point where I realize it is time to take that step, because I'm moving more into filmography, and I need something better that can take the more expensive lenses than the cameras that I have.
Yeah, so you were trying to balance out, do I get the Sony, do I get the Canon? Well, the Canon has this pros and cons, Sony has this pros and cons.
That's right.
And so this morning after we had coffee, I said, just go purchase a camera.
Yeah.
Because you need it. It's going to take care of your needs. The difference between them is negligible.
Yeah, it's a cost-wise, they're about the same.
And the truth is that financially you could purchase both cameras,
Sure.
use them both,
Right.
or get rid of one.
Yeah.
So stop toiling over this.
I know. It's time to make a decision.
It really is.
Forward.
And
Yeah.
you decided
Yeah.
to go ahead and
I
order the
decided.
Canon.
Yep. So hopefully we'll be recording on that in a few weeks.
That'll be great. So, sometimes being frugal is the right decision.
It is.
Impulsivity is the wrong decision.
Yeah, every time I would say impulsivity is always the wrong route to go.
And dragging your feet and dragging your feet and dragging your feet and never pulling the trigger
Is not a good
is
way.
also the wrong decision. And
Right.
it can literally keep you living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I know it's a different way to look at things, but we hope you liked our content. If you did, would you please subscribe? Because we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Keith
and,
would.
Yeah, and ding that bell. And what are you struggling with?
Yeah,
You know, are you on the side of you're impulsive, or are you on the side where you don't like to spend at all? And then how have you been coping with that? What are you doing to get to that next level so you're not being held back?
Yeah.
That would be great to hear your
What do you
stories.
need to spend so that you can stop living paycheck to paycheck?
That's right.
And really moving down the road.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, share it with your friends.
Yep, until next time. Threw me off tonight.
Thanks, everyone.